All right, y'all, it is time for the top eyeshadow palettes of 2023, okay? And it was only a few that really held my heart, and you're going to find that out in a moment, but you may need a snack. You might not even need a snack because I really don't even plan on holding you here long. We're just going to get down to what I liked and what I loved in 2023. So let's get started with the video. Hey guys, this is Ashley. Welcome on back to my channel. So, it's that time of the year. You already know we have to go through it. We have to talk about my favorite eyeshadow palettes for the year of 2023. And I don't feel like there are too many. There were really, at the last minute, like we kind of got some little add-ons, but really it's about 3 to 4 that I'm really in love with. So, But let me go ahead and introduce myself before I get carried away. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. And if you're oldie but goodie, welcome on back. My name is Ashley. I have a doctorate in pharmacy and I love makeup. So that's how you get Dr. Ash and her makeup. But please just call me Ash or Ashley. And eyeshadow is my jam. It is one of my most favorite things to talk about on my channel. And I did film this look and I'm going to tell you where it came from in a moment. And you're going to catch it like in a palette rotation that's going to be coming, in January, because clearly it's the 29th of December. And so just look out for it soon. But let's get rocking and rolling with these palettes. Normally when I'm like thinking about my favorite eyeshadow palettes, it's things like, did it move me? Like, how do I feel when I apply the shadows, the experience, the quality of the palette, the color story of the palette. And there were a few palettes that really rose to the occasion based off of what I tried this year. And then there were some that was just like, these were cool, but I don't know if it really just moved me, So really it's about a good strong 3 to 4. And then there's some others that are like, these are great. I really enjoyed them, but I will definitely like flag out like my tippy top palettes. Okay. So, and then I got a couple of new ones and I'm like, these are real new, but I'm really in love with these. Okay. So the first palette I'm going to jump in with is actually the Croc palette. Yes. So this actually released in 2022, but it was a Black Friday release. By the time we got it, it was really about December-ish. And this is by Klarity Cosmetics. I do actually now have an affiliate code with Klarity Cosmetics. It is Dr. Ash. All my codes are Dr. Ash. Keep it simple, right? But this palette right here, and they did make this in a mini because, my thing about Klarity, I was like, girl, who can use all of this eyeshadow? And especially when you know about a brand called Klarity Cosmetics, because they are not on the mainstream, they're in the indie phase. It's like, you're entrenched in the eyeshadow world, okay? So 9 times out of 10, you have a bunch of eyeshadows. So there's no way you're going to pan an eyeshadow this large, okay? But now they have brought the, the pan sizes down, which I believe has also brought some of the price points down, which is really great. But if we're going to go back to this baby, I had so much fun using this in the year of 2023. I have pulled it back out this fall. I used it all January and February and into the year. And this is just a beautiful earth tone color scheme. Oh, it matches what I got on now. It matches my vibe. This is not what I'm wearing, but the shimmers in this palette are beautiful. You have really great browns. The browns are very differentiations of colors. You have a deep brown, you have a mid-tone brown, but these are like browns, but with like a hint of gray. I love a good smoky, taupey, gray, brown shadow. They're like my best friends that I don't really get to see a lot, but as soon as we link up, it's like we never miss a beat. That's how I feel about shades like that. Then we have this beautiful olive green, and that's not even really my favorite shade. Like, these shades are my favorite, and a beautiful mustardy tone shade. Now the shimmers are absolutely gorgeous. So we have, oh boy, were we swatching? I don't know if we were swatching, but I guess we're here. So we have the shade Snapper. Do you see the subtle flip? Okay. And then we have Let's Crock and Roll. a beautiful taupe shade. And I have a video on this palette. And then, of course, we have Cold Blooded. Beautiful olive green. And of course, we have Death Roll, which is like that beautiful kind of chartreuse green, like my sweater that I have on right now. I mean, and it's just gorgeous, gorgeous shades. The shimmer performance is excellent. This one does have a little bit more texture to it. Very smooth, very great formulation. I love this palette. If you get a chance, pick it up. I know Klarity is like under reconstruction. They said they are reformulating, they are rebranding for the year 2024. So it's going to be very exciting to see what they come up with this year, because I generally do really love their color stories. And their mattes and their pigmentation. Sometimes the mattes can be a little tricky, but in this palette, the mattes are spot on. They're pigmented and you don't have any problem with them. So definitely in love with the Croc palette. All right, next up we got Miss Patricia, Mama Pat, whoever you want to call her, your auntie. And you know, this is a collection from the Love Collection. And although this collection was very like, kind of more of the same, but I really wasn't mad at it. It came out around Valentine's Day, but I was like, we finally have an all matte palette. So she had to be mentioned, okay? Although I wouldn't say it's my most favorite mattes by Auntie Pat, Mama Pat, but it is a really nice palette. I did have a lot of fun playing with this palette throughout the year, and also pairing it with my single eyeshadows. You know, that is just something that's great. When I think about using my single eyeshadows, I'm always reaching for like my Blends Bunny. I want to use some type of Pat McGrath. So this was just beautiful where I could just pop in these shades. Great standard mid-tone shades. You kind of have something for everybody. You have some mauves, you have the standard browns or the neutral shades, and then this ultra neutral shades. I'm like looking at my look at the shadow all over it. But it's a really solid palette, and I didn't think that was too badly priced. And you know, we've really been asking for a all matte palette. Now, if we can get like a Nirvana version, that would be like gold. Okay. Now this brand, she was playing no games, okay? No games. So I definitely have a video. I have a video coming out. It's going to be called Brand Up, Brand Down. And so this brand right here, honey, she was playing no games in 2023. And whatever she's putting in for 2024, I am ready to see it, because spoiler alert, it's a lot of palettes from this brand, Adept Kosmetics, in this ranking. So this one right here, she brought it in with a bang. Inspired palette, okay? A green lover's dream. Look at these gorgeous, delicious green tone shades. And this, I mean, nothing really too repeated. The only shade that I did not like in this particular palette was Warren Patel. It was just a little bit too flaky for my taste. But Isabel Rakovich, and this was based off of the show Arrow. I never watched the show, but look at that blue. Okay, there was only one shade that I would say would kind of knock it down, but it did serve a great purpose in the palette when you're building looks if you didn't want to use a matte to deepen. And I would say this shade, and that was Jason Broder. And the only reason I say that because it is that standard, you know, teal with the purple flip. We've seen that shade so many times, but it wasn't too bad. Now, Harold Backman, this blue shade, honey, even though this is kind of a shade we've seen a lot, but it was just a little special, a little bit different right here. Really gorgeous. And of course, you had like Daniel Brickwell. You had beautiful shades. And this palette, it just paired well. It worked well as a companion palette. If you kind of wanted to, like, you know, maybe use some brown shades and then put the greens on your lid, you were able to do that. You didn't really have an issue with it. Really gorgeous, well thought out palette. I would say the only other thing that I did not really like about this palette that kind of knocked it down for me in terms of her other palettes that she came out with this year would be the mattes. I only really cared for two of the mattes, this one and this one. So, you know, you're building a look. It's like, okay, here. The neon was just okay. It kind of read a little patchy, a little ashy on me. Same with here. And I just didn't care for this apple tone green. I was like, no, thank you. But other than that, packaging is gorgeous, simplistic, beautiful. I really enjoyed this particular palette. Now, another, I would say, honorable mention, and I really liked it, but also it kind of came out in conjunction with the Inspired by Elle palette. It was the La Cienega palette. And so I had these together at the same time because, you know, this launched in the mystery box and there was a lot of drama around that because, and I was a little taken aback too. Like, it was an expensive launch because you had this palette, I think it was like in the $60, $70 range. And then you had this palette, but we did not know. We knew it was an eyeshadow and we knew everything was new products, but it just turned out to be a bunch of multi-chrome eyeliners. And we're like, nobody asked for that, but this was good. So because I had this palette, I was able to put, you know, the mattes that were lacking and pair it with this. So it worked out really well. There wasn't any issue. And although adept mattes can be tricky sometimes, these were a hit. You got deep, you had the red, you had black, you had dark brown, you had mauve, you had neutral, and you had some fun shimmers at the bottom. Definitely a bit more neutral. I would say for me, these shimmers were not the most interesting out of the Adept Cosmetics lineup, but definitely the more neutral. But the ones I love the most would be definitely Santa Monica Boulevard. Beautiful, beautiful. Like, just look at that. I mean, just a nice rosy tone shade. But honey, let me tell you something. Manhattan Beach, honey. I'm sorry, what? What were you saying here, okay? Because she is just gorgeous and goes on for days. Like, I still have shadow on my finger. So really gorgeous shimmers. Really can, if you're like into more neutrals or you just want something to like kind of compare, you know, companion with your Adept shadows, then this is a great option. And I think there was a formulated really nicely. And I did reach for it quite a bit. So I was like, you know what? I definitely need to mention it. But like I said, it was only a few palettes that really, really moved me, okay? So this is a palette that really, really moved me. But I'm like, it's definitely in the favorites of 2023. But then at the same time, I'm like, I've only had it for like 3 weeks. But you know what? Sometimes it's like that in the eyeshadow game because I feel like, you know, the first quarter is always very slow. And the second quarter is like summer sometimes. But that fourth quarter, the fourth quarter releases every year. So this was a fourth quarter release, just like how I had the Croc palette. It was a fourth quarter release from last year, carried into this year. And we're, baby, ma'am, she had a heck of a year also, okay? She had a heck of a year. But when I think about all the releases outside of the Juicy Cheeks, this was my favorite release. And I love this palette so much. First of all, let's take a look at the packaging. The packaging is gorgeous. Talking about like it's romantic, it's sci-fi shades. It's talking about how we're using so many machines now versus like the floral aspect. She created this with her father that passed. And then when you open it, you do have a mirror and you have this beautiful color story. So half she created with her father. I want to say this is the side her father created and this is the side Megan created. Everything was well done. I don't know how she does it, but the mattes are always matting. The mattes do not come to play, okay? I would say the only shade that did not come to play for me was this one. I don't know what happened. I really don't. But, you know, every time she usually gets it right, but this shade was not vibing for me. Now, I did 3 looks. I actually did 4 looks and the video is up on this palette, but I had to go to a formal Christmas party the day after Christmas, and I kind of recreated one of the looks in my video with this shade and the grays and the thing, because I'm gonna try to pop a picture here. I had on an all black dress, and sometimes I like to put on like navy blue shadow, just, you know, to help with it. All right. My boyfriend is on the phone, and you can like hear his voice traveling. So it's like, let me close the door fully so the mic doesn't pick that up. But this is just such a gorgeous palette. The shades, oh my gosh, the shimmer shades like Cyborg. This shade is so electric. Oh my gosh, like I can't even stand it. And then the Sci-Fi shade, I like how she also laid out the palette where the shimmers were like each top / bottom for every row. It's still consistent, so the girlies and the guys are not throwing a fit about the shades not being in the color story, just like how it wasn't for Sickly Sweet, because y'all about lost your minds over that. But the shades are really, really pretty. These shimmers work so well. You could either put them on with a glitter glue, or you don't need a glitter glue, and they're still going to be opulent. You can use your finger, you can use your brush, and they apply well. What I also like about them is they have some etherealness to them. So like this is very light, but you can build it up to get an opaque color. And then this one I want to say is just the most opaque color right here, which would be the shade Mortality. But oh my God, girl, you knocked it out the park with this baby right here. She had a heck of a year with releases, but this one right here stole the show. And I can't wait to see what she has for 2024. I do have a code with Blend Bunny also. It is Dr. Ash, and that recently came about also. She had been sending me some PR for a while and quite a other few things I've bought myself, but I recently got a code. Now, let's see. Okay. So this one right here, I said, oh, this is cute. Now, I usually, lately, I like this brand, but I'll see the palettes and I'm like, oh, that's gorgeous, but I don't need it. I have this, this, and this, and this, this. I'll see another palette and I'm like, that's pretty, but I have this, this, and this, and this. But then I saw this palette and I was like, oh, we're going to engage. Nomad Kosmetics, Ghost Town, USA, with the lenticular motion. Do you see? Oh my gosh, a cool tone fantasy. So done well. This is like a cool tone palette. Like if you are stepping into the cool tone looks and you're trying to figure out how to achieve them, this one right here, it's going to set it up for you, okay? Because you have the nice colors tone progression. The stories are laid out. You have still more neutral shades with some warmth right here. Warmth, a little bit more warmth. Then we have a little bit more cool tone. The mattes are very interesting. The colors are great. The packaging is everything. It's just a well thought out story. The shimmers are great also. Like, you know, sometimes the shimmers can be a little hit or miss with Nomad, but oh my gosh. Like, they're just nice shimmers. You know, these are not like high shine foil shimmers, but they're definitely maybe a little bit more subtle. They're still a little sparkly, you know, but they are just good. And the mattes, they're just great. I love how we have, you know, this little set of mattes. They're kind of grungy. They're cool tone, earthiness to them. And you have very consistent color stories. If you don't know what to do, baby, 6 pan, 6 pan, 6 pan. You're good. You don't have to think about it. Just pop them on your eyes, you know? Here you go. You got your transition, you got your crease, you got your outer V. Okay, we're going to put this on the lid, or do you want to put that on the lid? And you can pop that in the corner, or you can pop this on the lid, and vice versa. So many options. This is a fabulous color story. And this definitely made me pay attention to the brand again. Now, we got 4 palettes left. And we got 4 palettes. And, you know, all right, I'm back. I don't even know where I was. I know what I was, but my memory card was full. I get ready to switch it. The other one's full. Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, last 4 palettes. And top 3 is in here. And then there's another one that I just got. And I literally have only had it for like 2 to 3 weeks. Has it even been that long? Maybe about, let me just tell you. She has stolen my heart. This little Element 115. Girl, you have done it. And the thing about this palette is, it's such a yummy color story. It's the blues, it's the purples, it's the sparks of pink, and all of the mattes. When I say all of the mattes work and they blend out well on my complexion, even the little pastel ones, and they don't turn to ash, just makes me so excited. You have rainbow shades in here that are gorgeous. So normally with the rainbow shades, if you swipe this way, you're going to pick up just one shade. If you swipe horizontally, you're going to pick up all the different shades. They perform well in the eyes. They're very sparkly. They are just gorgeous shades. Everything serves a purpose. I really love me some reverse engineer. Do you see how buttery and creamy these shades are? Weather Balloon. Oh my gosh, I just filmed a look with this. Look at this gray tone, taupey. I love a good gray tone, taupey, sparkly, multi-chrome. It does something for me, okay? UAP, gorgeous. Do you? Oh my gosh, I'm in love. And then Not Roswell, this beautiful dark purple. Do you see how pigmented it is? Do you see this? This is just juiciness. Now this was like, I had 3 of the palette. Well, I kind of gave it away. No, this is 3 palettes. Well, I might still give it away, whatever. But I feel like this one, like, I can't complain about the mattes. I'm still sitting with it because, I've only had it for 2.5, 3 weeks, but I don't even know if it's been that long. When did this palette show up? Like right before Christmas? Yeah. Like maybe I've only had it like a week. I think I've only really had it like a week and a half. When did this palette show up? Let's see. Today's the 29th. I really have not had it that long at all. Let's see. Let me see. When did I get this palette? Because, honey, yeah, I've really only had it about 10 days. It arrived on the 16th. Today is the 29th. So you see why I'm like, this is gorgeous, but I'm like, okay. One of the best for the year, but I'm still like treading with caution because I still need to sit with it a little bit more. But from what I've experienced so far, I love it. And the packaging, like, she stepped it up, because I think when I first saw the packaging, I was like, I don't know about that alien and the sneak peeks, but I think it came out gorgeous. And the shades in here are just 10 out of 10. And the fact that all the mattes work. Okay, so now we're going into the top 3. Top 3. And honey, I am so glad I tried this palette. I was really trying to talk myself out of this. It's like, I don't need it. You have hollow chromes. You have multi-chromes. You have these shades. You don't need this. And then I saw, my Smithsonian do this palette. And she's about my complexion. She's out of Australia. And I did go ahead and order the Cold Moon. Because I was like, yep, Cold Moon, yes, I need that too. Because one thing I feel about the Cold Moon is I definitely don't probably have so many of those shades. But this one I probably have more of. But even with the extensive collection that I have across my eyeshadow palettes, across my single shadows, and all these different brands with the multi-chromes, I feel like these are different. And what I do like about these hollow chrome shades, so the one you have in the middle, they're a little different. So you definitely have like Bougie. Oh, I love this shade. So the reflects are like bigger. They're more like confetti. They're more like speckled. Look, honey, honey, can you please? I love a good bronze shade like that. And then we have Wishful Thinking, which is the one right next to it. And it's the same type of formula as the Bougie shade. Let's see. So we got it here. And then, oh my gosh, two other favorite shades for me in this palette would definitely be the two at the top. We have the Sparkling Cider, and then we also have Ghost Moon. Beautiful, just beautiful, deep, dark, multi-chromes. Do you see this? Honey. I love them. I love them. And you have greens, you have beautiful golds, you have taupes. It's just an excellent job. I think like anything you want to create with this palette, you want to do neutral, you're going to be able to do neutral. You want to bold, you want to do maybe just a little hint of sparkle. You can do that with the palette. And these mattes, they're gorgeous. They are so pretty. I think the only matte that I particularly don't care for, and I think it's just the hue, is nothing wrong with the matte. I think I might just be over shades this color, is this one, but I still like it. I still like it in the palette, but I think this is my least used shade in the palette. I really love these little murky ones. They show up well, they blend out well. So I am here for it. And it is a pretty penny. It was $86. I think this one, because you had the magnetized palettes, I think the Cold Moon one was a tiny bit cheaper. Well, with the code, you can get it in the $65 range. But then when you add it on the shipping, it was like, well, dang, I'm right back up, you know, kind of. So, but I just really have been gravitating to that palette since it came out. I've been loving it. I've had no issues with the performance. And it's always like something I'm reaching for. It's just like something I keep right here underneath my little mirror that's in front of me with the stand. All right. The next one up. I told you, she had a year. She had a year, okay? And I didn't even have all the palettes in this video. She had a year. So Marion Sunset. Oh my gosh. Now, in this particular palette, the two mattes I don't really fool with are these two right here. So it's like, okay, we got, 3 out of 5. Not bad. Not as good as Element 115 when it comes to the mattes. Not as good as, well, then definitely, this is a lot better than the Inspired by Arrow, because I think I was 2 out of 5 for that one. But, oh my gosh, look. And you know what? I did a mashup. I don't know if you saw the video, but I did a mashup between this and Inspired by Arrow. Honey, out of this world. One of my favorite shades in this particular palette is Tasha here. I really love a good hollow chrome. I do. But this one is like silver with a peach flip, honey. I wore this on Christmas. My hand is a whole sparkle vibe right now. But do you see this? Do you see it? Oh my gosh, it's so good. And then we're going to go into USS Defiant. Honey, do you see this? I would say, though, I do notice when I wear USS Defiant, I feel like it's not as vibrant. Like, it's vibrant on the eyes, but I do feel like it's a little dulled down. I don't know, or the shine doesn't carry throughout the whole entire day. I know at one point, the glitter glue I was using was a little old, or it really wasn't even old. It's just that what's been happening with my NYX glitter glue, the top has been cracking, so it makes that product kind of dry down. So I just purchased a new one. So I'll have to try it again and see. But that is one thing I have noticed about this shade. But look, it's so many gorgeous shades, and then they look like they could look alike. That's packled right here, but they really don't. Like, if you are a warm tone girly, First of all, Risa, honey, Risa did not come to play. She said, I came to slay. Okay? Like, this whole palette came to slay. Like, let's be honest. Beautiful golden tone shimmers. Like, so for me, it gives neutrality with the extra oomph because of the multi-chrome, and those are like the types of golds that I tend to gravitate to. So I have just been in love with this palette since it came out, and like the packaging, everything. It's just a beautiful, well thought out palette where nothing is crossing over. I can't say that anything that from Element 115, well, of course, that's purple and blue versus, the Inspire. Everything has just been different and unique from the brand, and I appreciate it. Now, this little palette, it has came through. It has stolen my heart, and it's the palette that I have on right now. And I'm actually looking at my eyeballs, and I was like, I didn't do such a good job of laying it down in the crease, so I'm going to update that. But I love it. This is what I have on my eyes right now. I love it. This is by Shroud Cosmetics. This is the Moonfall palette. These are just, first of all, the color story. Like, this color story speaks to me. We got purples, we have chartreuses, we have burgundies, we got navies. It is just a dream to work with. And these shadows have somewhat of a multi-chrome flip, but they are just good old-fashioned, what do we used to call them? We've been so into the multi-chrome world and those like slippery shimmers. These were good old-fashioned, what did we call these? Gosh darn. They're just good pigmented shimmer shadows. What did we used to call these? Oh my gosh. But I have Artifact right here. I can't even think of what was the term. It's not multi-chrome, but what was the term? I'm just touching it up here because I didn't do a good job. That was me. I was like, wait, I didn't did a good job of packing this in my crease. They weren't multi-chromes. They were, well, this is what we had before we had all these multi-chromes, okay? Remember these big, pigmented, just juicy, foiled. They were called foiled shadows. So I was like, oh my God. These are just great foiled shadows. Remember when foiled shadows hit the game? It just kind of like changed the game. Yes, foiled. That was the name of them. Okay, but the Artifact has a little shift in it, and oh my gosh, if this isn't the prettiest shade ever, and I'm just really doing the most by going in here. I haven't even had this look on that long, but let me tell you, I was going through a thing when the look came out pretty, but I was like, I was doing something. Like my eyes were not participating in the eye look because my allergies have kind of been bothering me with the weather change. And yes, they're participating now, okay? Sometimes you just have to go in and amp up the game. But my lid, I have a hooded eye. So as you can see, if I don't get the shadow in there good and I use my finger and I didn't go back and touch up right there, then it's going to look like I didn't try, okay? or it's creasing really bad. But every shade, 10 out of 10. Color story, 10 out of 10. And it's just like it's nothing too much. It's bold with these shimmers. You can pack them on. You can do one on the lid. They work well in conjunction to each other. And then the mattes, like you can make them bold or you can share them out and just blend them out. That's what I kind of did here. And I did kind of like blend and blend and blend and then cover it up with the shimmer. Whatever. But this was number one, okay? And to the fact that I took this to Vegas when I went to go see Usher, and Beauty and the Frizz and I met up in person for the very first time. And I wore this palette. and I was walking around. And I'm not tooting my own horn because she has told the story too. And she was like, I don't know. And I'm like, look, it's good. This is good. Because these used to be pre-existing shadows, and then they put them together, and then they added a couple other shadows. And they, It's Freaking Bats had a lot of problems. Now, my It's Freaking Bats was good because I think it was hand pressed. But when she got It's Freaking Bats, I think she got the one with the machine press. The quality of the shimmers were not as great. I love It's Freaking Bats also. And I was like, no, this is good. So I wore it. We were walking everywhere. I mean, people down to like women and guys, the employees at Sephora, like everybody was like, oh my God, your eyeshadow is gorgeous. And she was just like, what the heck? She was like, I have my little BOP from Lethal that I made myself. It's just not giving. So then she swatched the palette and she was just like, yes, okay, I'm going to get it. It is good. And it's good. It was only like $30 or $40. This was, talk about a top release for first quarter in 2023. This right here, oh my gosh, wonderful. So that is all I have. That was my top palette. You saw the top 3. And really, I almost came on here and just did the video with these 3. I literally just almost came. I was like, hey, you just don't get these 3 palettes because I'm feeling some type of way. But the ones I kind of went back and grabbed for, I was like, after I gave it a little bit more thought, I was like, okay, this is a good list, good favorites out of the year. And yeah, like, I don't know. So I still do plan on doing my video of how many I purchased in the year of 2023. I know I have toned it down. I've curated my collection more, and I'm happy about that because I have a lot of eyeshadow and there's no way I could get it all on my eyes, okay? And it's just no way I could try every single palette out there, nor do I have the money or care to. Quite frankly, even if I had the money, I don't think I care to, okay? Because I know what I like, and at this point in time, I'm looking for certain things, certain color stories, things of that nature. But these really came through, and I know like some of these palettes I'll still be reaching for in 2024. I'll be like, I need to get back to this one. I need to get back to this one. You know what I mean? So let me know what was your favorite palettes of 2023. Let me know down in the comments. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Hit the notification bell so you know when I come back with another video, which will be soon. And subscribe to my channel because I would love to have you here in my little makeup family. And with that being said, you already know what time it is. It's time for the chair dance. Chair dance. Hey, 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 chair dance. Chair dance. Hey, chair dance. All right, y'all. Bye.